Here's our roomette. This is where I'll be sitting to stitch. And there's my little table I'll work on. It folds out. This is where my husband will be sitting. There's our sink. There's even a commode under there. And up here, that comes down, slides down. And that's where my husband slept last night. My chairs were made into a bed. A mattress was put over them with sheets and pillow and cover. That's where we slept. We got on the train about 1:15-ish. Pulled out and trying there. The window, the glare is pretty bad. Sorry. We're in Danville right now, and our attendant Martha has gone to get our breakfast. They do pamper you. It's very nice. Hi everyone, this is Dina. I am on the Amtrak train to New York City today. I have grabbed a little bit of footage just showing you the little roomette that we have. It is small, but it serves the purpose. I have been stitching today on the train, and right now we are in Washington, D.C., and we are taking a stop. Now, we've taken a couple of stops that were unplanned today because apparently the power cable that connects underneath each of the train cars came unconnected to one of our cars was one of them that wasn't connected. Anyway, we lost power. So now we are taking a scheduled pit stop in Washington to let people off the train, and it is a stop where people are allowed to get off the train and stretch their legs and that sort of thing. But we've been asked not to go far, and we've been asked to come right back because we are so late due to the unscheduled stops to literally zip tie this cord up to hold our power connected to the train. So while we're here in Washington, they're going to have it properly repaired real quick. They don't think it'll take very long at all. And then we will be on our way on to New York City. I had a new start today. I decided that I would do a new start in honor of my trip to New York. And I'm going to get the pattern off the little table here. This is what I started. I had done the round one and the little half circle down there at the bottom, so this is the one I started on today. And so far, I have just the middle section done, and I'm now starting on the little red flowers all around. But depending on how long it takes us to get to New York, especially with these little unexpected, stops that we're having, who knows, I might get to finish it today. If I don't get to finish it today, I'll finish it tomorrow. So anyway, I threw that one in unexpectedly. I just decided on it last night as I was packing everything in my little suitcase. This is my little suitcase. This has all my cross-stitch supplies in it. I brought an entire suitcase for that and my CPAP machine. It's in there too. But anyway, I'm having a great time. Our meals have been really good. Breakfast, we had pancakes and sausage. That was my choice. We had breakfast to choose from, but they were out of the omelet. And then the only other thing they had was a continental breakfast with some sort of sandwich, and I didn't want that, so got the pancakes and sausage. And for lunch, my husband got salmon, and I got braised beef short ribs, and it came with green beans and carrots and a little side salad, and it was delicious. So we got a dessert, each of us, with our lunch. there were two desserts offered, so Tommy got one and I got the other, and we haven't tried those yet. We're taking those with us to keep in the hotel room for when we need something sweet later in the week, and so we're creating a little stash to do that with. So I'm excited about getting there. I've enjoyed this trip so far. I will tell you, sleeping on the train was not what I expected. I've slept on a cruise ship and I love the gentle rocking. It actually is like rocking me to sleep. But on this train, I'm sorry, my hair is kind of wonky. I slept on it. I haven't had a chance to, I can't do anything to it. Um, on the train, you really have a lot more motion. And I felt like I might get a little motion sick last night because it was rocking so hard. Um, but mind over matter, I just decided that if I would hurry up and go to sleep, I wouldn't even worry about it. And I tried really hard to relax and just go to sleep. And I think I did doze off about that time. So I was able to make it through without any trouble, and that was good. Um, but I'm thinking that I may get some Dramamine to take on my way home just to have it in case. Because I want to sleep well, because we're sleeping again on the way back. So we'll see how that goes. But the bed in here is fine. These chairs, both the one facing me and the one I'm in, they slide down together to make a bed, and they put an extra mattress on top of it, and then sheets and a little blanket. But my husband's bed is above me, and it is this like a bunk bed thing that's way up above our head, but we turn a lever on it and it slides down into place and becomes a top bunk bed. And he just climbs right up the little equipment over here, which are made to be steps, and he climbs up in the bed. So anyway, I'll turn the camera around and show you how he has to get up into that bunk bed, but I'll also show you my stitching. Okay, so this is the steps that he goes up, one, two, and then he gets into that bed. Now that bed is what slides down, and it comes down that pole right there, that railing, and so it really is only about a foot above my head when it's pulled down. So that means he can climb in it. I wanted to show you this because if you can see it, it's kind of bright. Sorry. Our luggage is up there. There's a little tiny niche up there, and that's where our actual luggage is. You can see we have a private door. We can open or close it. I closed it to start talking to you anyway, and so my husband's been sitting over there, and he's been answering emails and doing some Facebooking and various things today. But he decided to step out and take a bit of a stretch, and I decided to film so I could say hi on my way to New York City. I'll try to do some little snippets like this and keep you posted. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Well, it is Saturday. It is November 5th, and I am in New York City. We're in the hotel, or I am. My husband has been all the way to pick up his race packet today, and he has been to the expo shopping, and I actually have a picture of him after buying his expo goodies that he texted me. I'll put it in here. And then now he and his friend John are going to head on over to Central City Park. They're about to meet up with some other runners that have been on a Facebook group that's been started by a gentleman who has run the Peachtree Road Race something like over 40 or 50 times. I don't know. He's been running a long time. I think he's 90 years old. Anyway, I don't really know all the details other than he started a Facebook group to help answer questions for these first-time runners of the New York City Marathon about how you get around and how you get to the starting line and all that kind of stuff. So my husband's excited about doing that. He went out this morning while I was still sleeping. I didn't sleep well on the train. As I mentioned before, it was a little too much motion for me. But so I slept in a little bit this morning, and he went and got a breakfast for me just right around the corner from our hotel. And it was delightful. It was a big breakfast. So I don't even know that I'll eat lunch today, but I am stitching. There's a little tiny countertop over here on the side of the room, and there was a bench over on that wall, and I've pulled the bench over here and set it up on the table, and so now I have a really good table. And when I finish recording, I'll go back over and turn all these lights on. There's a lot of light over here that I'm using, and I turned it off because it was glaring when I tried to set up the camera to film. So I decided at the last minute, just as I was grabbing my bag to head downstairs the night that we left, I saw this project folder, project bag, and I decided, I would love to take that and do one as my New York new start. And so I did. And I've shared this with you that I was going to give this a start. This is the one I wanted to do. I've completed this one and this one. And I wanted to start this one for my New York trip, leaving the larger one to be the only one I hadn't completed yet. And yesterday on the train, I had hoped that I could stitch it all on my trip up. But unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, and all that consisted of is there's a cord, a huge electrical cord that connects the cars together, providing the power for their lights and their air conditioner and everything, all the electricity. And it kept coming uncoupled at some point, and that meant that all the train cars had no power, and they had to stop because they were dragging the thing. And they put it back together, and we took off again pretty slowly, but just to test it, and it came apart again. It was so funny. Our attendant, whose name was Martha, and she was absolutely fabulous, she came by later and told us that they came asking her if she had any duct tape, and she said, normally I do, but I didn't today. But she had zip ties in her little bag of tricks, and they zip tied these little ties together and looped it under it, and they zip tied it up and held it on there until we could get to the next train station that was in Washington, and it had a repair. I had people there that could repair it, and so we lost about 50 minutes of time on our trip here. And so the next leg of our trip that we got started, they were flying. They were trying to make it up. And I will tell you, they made up a good 20-30 minutes of it because they were doing over 100 miles an hour. That train was rocking so hard at that point, I couldn't even see where to put my needle. I couldn't see. It was just doing like this, really, like this the whole time. So I had to put it away, and I didn't get to finish it. So when I got here last night, we got into our hotel room about 8 o'clock. We had a quick little peanut butter sandwich. I brought some stuff with me so we wouldn't have to venture out too much the first night because I knew we'd be tired. And I sat up and I stitched a few minutes, but I was falling asleep. So went on to bed, and I got up this morning and I finished her. So here she is. That says Mary, and there's my ornament. It's a hands-on design called Cranberry Christmas. I'm loving it. I am using the called for Sulky Petites. I ordered them in this pack. It's a petite palette for handwork, and I was trying to see if it had the name of the palette on there. It says assorted. But this, I believe, is the Christmas one, if you look. So it's got 2 reds, 2 greens, a brown, and a off-white. But I got this as the preferred kit for this. This was what it was designed to stitch it with. Kathy actually picked that thread pack to stitch this with, and I think the colors are absolutely beautiful. So, my first finish. I'm hoping maybe I'll have one more. I don't know. But I do just plan on stitching today. My husband's doing a lot of erranding, and I'm just planning on stitching and maybe taking a little walk a little bit later. There are several restaurants right around the corner from us, within a block or two of walking distance. But I think there are a couple. One's an Italian restaurant that looks really nice, and one is a Chinese restaurant that looks nice. And so I'm thinking that we may want to save that for our dinners, for a couple of nights that we're not meeting other people to go out for dinner. So that may be, one of those may be tonight. I don't know. But I'm going to get back to stitching. I'll try to pop on here whenever I have something to share with you as far as the stitching. But when we arrived last night, I did take a little tiny video of our room. It is a small room. It's not anywhere near as small as what we had on the train. That was minuscule. That was so funny. It was like a little tiny house. But it was perfect for a train ride. You know, we had plenty of room for the ride. So, when we got here, this is more of an economy style hotel. We were trying to come to New York a little affordably this trip. So we were able, quite frankly, we had another hotel that my husband got early on just to make sure we had a room. And then he started looking to see if he could find one a little more affordably. And we did. It was quite a bit more affordably. But for that, you have just what you need. So this is a smaller space. So I took a video of it to show you. It's still quite lovely. And in fact, in New York, this would be quite a large apartment from what I'm hearing. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. It's got everything I need, and it'll meet our needs for the time that we're here. So I'm going to get back to stitching. I'll let you get back to what you're doing. And when I have something new to share with you, I'll pop on here and show you what I will have. And in the meantime, happy stitching. Here we are in our room at the Shoreham Hotel in New York City. We've just brought in our luggage and started unpacking. There's a little bench there. And got the big screen TV. That's probably where we're gonna eat dinner. And I'll stitch there. I'm thinking of moving this bench over there to make me a place to be. And then there's a huge restroom, bath, shower here, and a little closet right when you come in the door here. So everything you need, just in a small little place so that we could stay affordably here for the race. But very nice, very clean. So we're getting settled in.
It's like maybe nobody even knows. They were working out. Not really.
Just went right down the street for my lunch today. Right past those two outdoor dining areas is the Italian restaurant. So Tommy's almost finished with the marathon. He's coming up on mile 25. So I'm going to head back to the room so that when he gets there, I'll be there to cheer him on and congratulate him. Hi everyone, welcome back. It is November the 6th. It's the day of my husband's marathon, and he has run the marathon and has returned, and I'm happy to report he did a great job and survived the heat quite well. It was quite hot up here. It's not what anybody expected as far as the weather, but I spent the day tracking him on my phone and seeing him run the course with on a little map and getting his information for each of the key mile markers that they would post his progress and his average time per minute or miles per minute, that kind of thing. So it was great. I knew when he finished, and I could send him a message right away and congratulate him on his finish. And he's resting now, and then we're going to meet some friends for dinner. So what did I do today? Well, I certainly didn't put forth the effort like he did, but I did work hard, and I was working hard stitching on a project, and I want to share that with you. So today I pulled out my Blackbird designs early Christmas morning, and I started working on it. I had finished the house. I had the 2 trees to do, and I had to finish the green branches here, the holly branches, and I had to finish all of this. So really and truly, when I started this, I only had the house and this one tree and a bit of that wrapped around it. So it was a pretty middle of the road kind of, halfway done thing. And I actually stitched today 1,222 stitches, I think it is. So I stitched a lot, and I finished her. Now, for some of you who've stitched this, you will notice that I do not have snowflakes on mine, and that is on purpose. We don't get a lot of snow in Georgia, especially where I live. So I hadn't put the snow in there yet. Not sure I'm going to. I'm thinking about it, but I think I kind of like it just the way it is. Now, there's another part to this. I can't show you the pattern, but I can show you a picture of it. There is a band that you can stitch to go around it to make it a small, flat, like pin cushion. I've been thinking about that, and I'm not going to use mine as a pin cushion. I think instead I'm going to either get a round box and make this the topper for that. It may become a gift. Or I may do another hoop finish like I did with our retreat piece that we did last year. But that means this is the second finish on my trip. I'm pretty excited about that. Just wanted to share it with you. So this is Early Christmas Morning by Blackbird Designs. This is fabric by Stitch Me, and the name of it is Peanut. And I actually started stitching on this with a mind to put the strip for the little edging down the side here and to cut out the bottom of it here. So that's why I stitched it right up in the corner the way that I did. But the good news is that means I have a lot more Peanut left and I can do another project on it. So that's good news. I hope you're having a great day of stitching. I certainly have been. And now we're going to join friends of ours that came to New York as well for the marathon. And we're going to go out for authentic Chinese tonight. And we're going to get to meet their 3 daughters. We've never met their family before, so I'm looking forward to that. We're going to have a good evening. And then I hopefully will come back and share with you more stitching if possible. Tomorrow is a very special day for me. Tomorrow my husband is escorting me to Needleworkers Delight. I'm going to meet up with Lori and possibly 2 other of her friends who are planning on coming. And then I got a message also that Arlene Cohen said she'd be joining us. So I hope I get to see her. I haven't seen her since 2019 at StitchCon. So I'm sure that we'll do lots of visiting and talking and maybe a little stitching, but I'll try to get some video or at least pictures to share with you. And but I'm looking forward to the day tomorrow, so can't wait to tell you all about it. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, November the 8th. I hope you voted today. By the time you see this, it'll be over. But Tommy and I voted early just so we would be able to register our vote before we came to New York. I have wonderful information to share with you because yesterday was my day. Yesterday we went to Needleworkers Delight. We took a subway, we transferred to the New Jersey Transit train, and then my friend Lori from Once Upon a Stitch picked us up there, and we had never met except online, so I got to meet her, which was awesome. And Lori, thank you again for doing that. She offered to do that. That was just so nice of her. And we got over to Needleworkers Delight, and there were 3 other ladies there that I got to meet that came purposely to stitch with us. So Tonya and Dee and Kathy, thank you so much for coming. 2 of these ladies took off a day from work just to come and be able to stitch with us. So I just so appreciate you sacrificing that for us. And we got to stitch, we got to shop, so I have some haul, y'all, and we got to get acquainted, and I am just delighted. I put a few stitches in. I'll be happy to show you what they are. But we mostly shopped and talked, and that's not unusual, I don't think, for any of us stitchers. So let me show you my haul. I picked up one pattern. I had been eyeing this over and over and over again, and when I saw it yesterday, I thought, it's time, I'm going to pick it up while I'm here. It's the Blue Flowers Tudor Bee. I just think the colors are beautiful, and I want to stitch that someday. So I'll have that in my stash now. And my friend Glow had sent me a gift and let me know that she had this gift for me to be able to have some funds to shop with while I was at the shop. So Glow, thank you again for that. But while I was there, I looked at one of the other Quakers, the seasonal Quakers, and I decided I really want to do spring. I had thought about maybe doing another one after I finished winter and saw how beautiful it was all together. That's probably the downside of using scroll rods, if there is one. You don't get to see the whole thing until you unroll it, and you forget how pretty that thing is. And so when I framed it and put it up in the house, I thought, you know, I might enjoy at least one more. And so I had said I probably wouldn't use Valdani again unless I could split it, you know, and do it 2 strands. And that's what I decided to do. But I went ahead because they were there, and Glow had sent me a gift, and I picked up the thread pack for the spring. Look at that. Because of the variegation, I just didn't want to do it in DMC because you won't get all that. Look at that beautiful variegation in these things. So, Glow, I'm ready for this. They didn't have the pattern, so I'll have to be ordering that. But I got the threads. So that's awesome. And one of the reasons that I was looking at doing another one too is that when I went to frame my winter Quaker, I had a frame in my stash that was the perfect size. However, it had flowers on it around the frame, little tiny, tiny flowers. And I thought that would be perfect if this was a spring or summer piece. So I went, and framed Winter Quaker with an off-the-shelf frame, which was great. But I keep thinking about that frame, and one of my viewers actually said in a comment, if you do spring or summer, you've already got the frame for it. And it just clicked. It was like, of course I do. I need to put that on my wish list. So I have the threads now. I'm getting closer, and I've decided which one I want to do. The rest of this is fabric because I wanted fabric. We don't have a LNS in the whole state of Georgia. We've told you that many times. All of us from Georgia tell you that because we want somebody to open one, y'all. Come on, bring us a store in Georgia. So one of you younger people, I would love to do it, but I'm too old to do that. So my whole purpose in shopping was to get fabric, and I want to share with you what I was able to pick up. These were, of course, pieces that were already cut and ready to go. I heard the warnings from you all, plus, I've had my own experience about mail order, so I didn't do that. I just went in and got what was on the shelf of what I wanted, and I got a variety of things because I was looking for colors, the colors that I want. So this is a silk weaver. It's a Lugana. It's 32 count, and the name of it is Greenfield. Now, that may be looking a little brown for you. Let me double it up. It's just this light green. Nope, it's going to look brown for you. But it is a gorgeous light green, and it'll be a wonderful light green neutral. In fact, it may be good for spring, except it's 32 count. But the color is lovely. Then I thought this was great. This is a Zweigart. It is also a Lugana. It's called Lugana Splash. It's a 32 count. It's a light pink with little white splashes on it. If you'll recall, I recently did a berry, a Santa berry, on a light blue splash, and it looks like it's snowing. And so I thought, isn't this pretty? This pink little splash. Love it. So might do a winter scene on that as well. Then this is another silk weaver fabric. It's also 32 count, and it's Sapphire Mist. And I won't unfold it because I think you can see the color better if I leave it thick. So, isn't that beautiful? Really pretty blue. And then I got a couple of these because I think these are going to be gifts for people. This is a Zweigart Lugana. It's a little piece, a 13 by 18 little polka dot. But I got two of these because I think those are going to be used for gifts. This one was fun for me. This is a Zweigart Lugana 32 count, and it's terracotta. Isn't that gorgeous? I think that might make a really pretty fall or a Halloween. Just really nice. But I liked it because it was different. This one was a find. This is a silk weaver. It's called Congress cloth, which means it's a 24 count rather than 28. It's an 18 by 24, and it's a solo die. So it's not named. Can you see it? Now, can you, oh, there you go. Sparkle. I think that's going to make a beautiful, beautiful night sky for something really fancy and pretty. I have one in mind, but I'm thinking that the 24 count might make it, the piece might be too big for it, but we'll see. You never know. Then I got another silk weaver. This is a Wexford Iris Garden. So this is a linen. I did pick up a couple of linens just because the colors were so beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And I don't get a lot of what I consider real busy or brighter colors. They have to really speak to me. But this one was beautiful. It did speak to me. I did like it. And then I got one more. Um, this is a Silk Weaver Wexford, and it's called Floral Bliss. And I purchased this, and then I got a gift from Lori, and she had a piece of it in my gift. So I have a small piece of it and this larger piece of it, which is awesome, because I might could do some series on them. Isn't that beautiful? So that's my haul. I really went crazy. I got quite a bit of fabric, but I'm so excited about it. And I just wanted to share it with you because I don't have that often. I don't get to shop often when it comes to cross stitch, you know. Now, for the stitching. I pulled out when Santa's away. The night before I went to Needleworker's Delight, I outlined the shoe. I outlined it. And while we were there, I did these 3 rows of stitching. That's it. And yes, I was there all day. And when I got home last night, I know y'all are laughing with me because you've done it too. You know you have. I came home last night and I did this little vine in here because once I do the flower here, I can just feel that the rest of the way in. And I think that will be great train stitching for when we travel tomorrow. So I'm going to do this floral part here, and then I'm going to work around on the rest of the piece, the other mouse and all of that while we're here. And then on the train, I hope to just fill in the shoe. But this will be the next one I'm working on. This is one of my 3 projects that are on my animal adventures. So yesterday, even though I only did those 3 rows in the shop, I had done the little candy cane and the whole outline and whatnot. So when you added them all together, I had just enough for one of my animal adventures. So I've got one done with this. And today I hope that I'll get to stitch quite enough, you know, to make another animal adventure today. That would be my goal. So that's my stitching progress. That's my report from the shop. I had so much fun there, and I'm hoping that I'll get to see these ladies again at a future retreat, or if we ever come back to New York again, now that we know how to get there. You know I'll be going. I will tell you, my husband has not been into any needlework shops with me before, and he went in that shop and he was absolutely overwhelmed. He said, wow, there's so much here. He went through the whole shop because he was just so fascinated that there's that much stuff that stitchers, you know, are interested in, because they had bolts of fabric. They had a lot of it was Aida. It was wonderful. You know, you just tell them what you want, how much you want, and they cut it and serge it for you right there. Their in-store service is phenomenal. Everybody that's ever been there says that. I mean, we were stitching there. It wasn't even a normal day that they set aside for stitchers, but they brought out a pot of coffee and a carafe of ice water, and they had sweets, you know, some wonderful little Danish type things for us to eat. And they had china, y'all. I mean, it was nice. I felt special. And they do this for everybody. They do this for all their customers. It was wonderful. And then they have banding, and they had, you know, punch needle supplies, and they had table toppers and Afghans and towels, you know, hand towels, anything that you've maybe ever stitched on in your life. They've got some of it. It just really is a treasure trove of a place. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing it, and I thoroughly enjoyed seeing my husband get so impressed with it. And so that was fun. But now I'm going to buckle down and get some stitching done. My husband has decided today he wants to go tour Ellis Island. And we tour very differently. I go through things probably at a moderate pace. I spend, a good deal of time there, but my husband is enthralled and he has to see everything and he wants to take his time and really look. And long story short, I get through probably in half the time he does. And then I have to just sit and wait, because I want him to enjoy it at his own pace. And we know that about each other. So today we talked about what he was going to want to see and do today. And I told him, I said, would you be offended if I just don't go? Because if I'm sitting and waiting on him for a long period of time with nothing to do, I will feel bad that I'm not reading or stitching or doing something productive. And he knows that. And so he's going to go tour. He'll bring me back videos and tell me all about it. But my husband is also very much an introvert and sort of a loner, and he hasn't had alone time really. So I think this will give him some time to relax and rejuvenate. And I'll be relaxing and rejuvenating because I'll be stitching. So I think it's going to be a good day. We'll meet back up and have our meals together. And but for this morning, he's going to go do his tour, and I am going to go stitch. Thanks for letting me share our trip with you. Thanks for coming along with me. And I hope that you're having a great week of stitching. Happy stitching, everybody. Here we are in the lounge for the Amtrak train. Have a nice, really nice place to wait. And there's a little bar and a place to get little wraps and chips and cookies. And you'll see there's the board there telling us when the trains are arriving. Right now our train is on time. Should be here about 2:15. And they've told us that they'll start boarding about 20 minutes prior. Hi everyone, I'm back home. This is Dina. It is November the 10th, Thursday, and my husband and I pulled into the Gainesville station of the Amtrak station at about 7:40 this morning. We traveled all night. We left New York about 2:30, I guess, on Wednesday afternoon, and we had such a good time. My husband had surprised me and had bid on a full sleeper car. We were in a little roomette, which was very, very tight, but better than, being out in just a whole passel of chairs. We actually had two that would recline and make into beds and a bunk bed above on the way up. But he found out that you could go online and bid for an upgrade, I think something like 32 or 37 hours before you were to part. So he waited until the appointed time without telling me. He went online and he bid for a full sleeper car, and we got it. Oh, it was such a delight. It was different. It was a little bit bigger, and it had much wider seats that you shared, like a big bench seat. And then when you got ready to go to bed, that slid all the way flat and made like a super single bed. And then the up top bunk dropped down just like it did in the other car. It was a little bit bigger, but not much bigger than what my husband had the first night. But my bed was way bigger, and it was actually not any more comfortable. It was still kind of hard, even though they had a mattress on top of the seat. But I will tell you, my husband put earplugs in and went right to sleep. And I stayed up and stitched till about, 1 o'clock in the morning. I finished, and then I had to do my counting of my stitches and posting, for my prompts and things like that. So it took me till about 1 o'clock to get ready to go to bed. I put this on my 3 whips that I'm using for my animal adventures, where you stitch to find your animals. And as you know, I've explained, I think before, that you can do up to 6 on one piece. So I had determined I was just going to do prompts with this until I finished it or hit 6. And as it turned out, I hit 5. So here is my When Santa's Away. Now it may look unfinished to you because there's a white cuff missing from the shoe. You'll see it there. Well, I guess you can tell from looking at it. It's batting. It's quilting batting that you use for the cuff. I have some in my stash, but I haven't been home long enough to be able to have already cut it and glued it to the fabric. But I will be doing that pretty soon, and then I can decide how I want to fully finish this. This tickled me. As I was working on this on the train, my husband leaned over and he said, "Haven't you stitched a couple of pieces with those same little mice?" Give the man an A, right? Yes, I have stitched a trio of pieces, and they're all Christmas, and this is a 4th one. So I can't determine if I'm going to put this in a pillow. I'm thinking a nice big pillow might be cute to put in a chair somewhere, but I could frame it, but they've run out. They no longer carry the molding I used, and it's really unique. So I don't want to put something close to it in the grouping. Of course, you know, I could have a grouping of 3 and then have this somewhere else, which is kind of why I thought of a pillow. But I'll let you know. But here's my finish. So if you've been counting, and some of you do, that's 3 finishes since I left here. I am so excited. I knew I was going to get a lot of stitching done because of the travel by train. I had no idea I would get that much stitching in. But when it turns out, you know, when your husband's running a marathon, which takes all day, when you're traveling by train, which takes overnight and, you know, most of a day, twice there and back. And then there were times when, you know, we would get back from our activities, what we were going to do for the day, and it would only be, you know, 8, 9 o'clock at night. And what was I going to do but stitch? You know, so I stitched every day while I was in New York. There wasn't a single day that I didn't stitch. So I had 3 finishes to show for it. I had taken another 4 projects. I had taken a new start that's going to be a retreat swap piece. I was going to get started on that, but once I got into the finishing mode and I was realizing that it was only taking about 2 days, 2.5 days to finish each of the things that I was working on, I just decided that's what I was going to do. And that way, every time I look at those 3 pieces, I will remember New York. So that'll be fun. Okay, I think I have shared with you little snippets. I've recorded little snippets while we were in New York. So I'll tell you just a little bit about my husband's marathon because you all are so kind to ask. He did really, really well. In fact, I have all of his time in an app. And he was right on target to do exactly what he wanted to do up until probably around mile 13, 14, somewhere in there. Might have been a little bit later than that, but somewhere in the teens, he started having leg cramps really bad, and he had to stop and walk the cramp out. He had been hydrating the entire time. He had been fueling the entire time. Every time they had a water stop, he drank water. Every time. It was 75 degrees in New York, y'all. 75 degrees. Now, when he runs here, he's used to that, but he runs shorter distances when it's that hot. Or he goes very early in the morning before it hits the high for the day. But because of having almost 50,000 people in the New York City Marathon, they had to stagger their start times, and he had 10:30. So you can imagine, you know, running about 4 hours, you're going to hit midday. You're going to hit the heat of the day, and he did. But even with that, even having to walk some to walk the cramps out, he still came in just probably 20 to 30 minutes later than he had hoped to. So he did great. He did really, really well. I was really proud of him. And although they're not competing, he had two friends that ran the race as well. And my husband is 67 years old, and these two men were, one is in, well, they're both, I think, in their early 50s. So he had a good 10 years on them, probably. I would say about 10 years of age. And I think he came in behind one of them. I think he was only 4 or 5 minutes longer. And the second one he beat by an hour. So he did really well. I was so proud of him. You know, he's worked hard to be ready for it. I have a picture in here of him back at the hotel, showing me his medal, his finisher medal, and he's grinning from ear to ear. So you can tell he's really happy with his accomplishment. That's a bucket list item for him, and that's always fun when you can do that, right? We had great food. We found a place. My favorite find in New York City this trip was a place called Bread and Butter. And it was a 2-story shop. You ate upstairs at tables, but the whole downstairs was fabulous. They had an entire section for salads, and they had some of the most unique, beautiful salads I have ever seen. They had a whole section where you could get personalized salads made with different sets of ingredients. And then they had another whole section that had 3 different food sections. So at one place you could have your Pan Asian, and in the middle I think you had sort of Mexican barbecue sandwiches and stuff, and at the last third of it was breakfast, where they cooked everything, you know, to order, omelets and eggs and all of this stuff. And so we ate there a couple of times. It was so nice, so fresh and so delicious and very affordable. And that's something you worry about in New York City. The prices are pretty high in a lot of places. But we lucked out, and we found some restaurants that we could either share a meal because it was so big, you know, or it wasn't that expensive. My husband had a bucket list item to go to Kat's Deli, and he did. And he ate there. And he tried matzo ball soup, and he had half of a pastrami sandwich. And the thing was about, you know, this big. He couldn't even eat it all. He loved it. It was great. And I'm so happy he got to do that. He did that on one of his excursions out and about. And I was eating at a place closer to the hotel. And then went back and stitched. So we did some things together and some things on our own so that we could all do what we wanted to do, the two of us. And it worked out really well. So, long story short, I had a great trip. And I'm going to let that wrap up this video, because with all the little snippets that I have and all the things I'm showing you, I think it'll be long enough. And I'll go ahead and start a new video vlog today. Happy stitching, everybody. Thanks for letting me share my trip with you.